A stunning twist has shaken the reality TV world. Kirk Frost and young Jock, once thought to be inseparable, have had a dramatic falling out that shattered their friendship. No one saw it coming, but simmering tensions finally exploded in the most shocking way possible. What started as a minor disagreement quickly spiraled into an all-out fight, leaving fans and the entertainment industry in disbelief. It all unfolded at an industry event where a simple conversation turned into a heated confrontation. Voices were raised, insults flew, and before anyone could intervene, the two stars were physically fighting. Now, everyone is asking, what sparked such an intense clash? And what does this mean for their futures, both personally and professionally? Fans are still processing the news, with social media buzzing about the aftermath. Is this truly the end of an iconic friendship? How did things deteriorate so badly between Kirk and young Jock? The real story behind the feud is much more complex than it first appeared, and it's time to uncover the explosive truth. 4 years, Kirk Frost and young Jock have been standout figures in the reality TV scene, with a friendship built on mutual respect and countless shared experiences. Fans admired their bond, believing it was unbreakable. But a small misunderstanding during a filming break at what should have been a relaxed, light-hearted event sparked a chain of events no one could have anticipated. Kirk, already dealing with immense pressure from both his personal and professional life, was showing signs of frustration. Negative media attention, fueled by his relationship with Rashida and ongoing work drama, was weighing heavily on him. Meanwhile, young Jock, known for his charismatic yet sometimes impulsive nature, was also navigating struggles within the industry. It all came to a head when Jock made a casual comment about Kirk's career choices, questioning his decision to continue focusing on reality TV rather than more traditional pursuits. While it seemed harmless to outsiders, it struck a nerve with Kirk. His growing insecurities turned the comment into a personal attack, and tensions flared. The argument escalated quickly, with both men trading harsh words. What began as a verbal spat soon spiraled into a physical confrontation. Cameras captured the moment Kirk shoved Jock into a nearby table, stunning the crowd. The two threw punches until security rushed in to separate them. In that instant, the strong friendship fans had admired for so long seemed to crumble. The aftermath was even more surprising. Rumors spread rapidly, suggesting that the fight wasn't just about career choices. Sources claimed that tensions had been simmering for months, fueled by personal issues and past grievances. Some even alleged that Kirk had been involved in a secret career-altering deal, which he had kept hidden from Jock. When Jock found out, he reportedly felt deeply betrayed, and whatever trust remained between them shattered. Kirk expressed his frustration publicly with a cryptic social media post. Some people can't handle success and will do anything to tear you down when you're on top. Many believed this was a jab at Jock. Jock, in turn, responded emotionally through a video, saying he had always been there for Kirk and implying that the fight was about deeper issues than career disagreements. He chose his ego over our friendship, Jock said, visibly upset. Their feud divided fans, with some siding with Kirk, citing the intense pressure he faced, while others sympathized with Jock, accusing Kirk of letting fame change him. The rift even affected their families. Rashida, Kirk's wife, was reportedly heartbroken over the fallout, concerned about how fame and pressure had changed Kirk. Meanwhile, Jock's family was disappointed in how publicly he handled the situation, wishing it had been resolved privately. As time went on, both Kirk and Jock tried to repair their public images through interviews and talk show appearances, but the damage was done. The trust and bond they once shared were beyond repair. Their once close friendship faded, and public appearances together became rare, signaling the sad end of a bond that had seemed unbreakable. The feud between Kirk and Jock turned out to be much more than just a bitter rivalry, leaving fans wondering if the two reality TV stars could ever mend their broken bond. After their fight, media coverage exploded, with more personal details about their lives surfacing daily. What shocked everyone most was realizing that what seemed like a simple disagreement had actually exposed deep-rooted issues that neither Kirk nor Jock had faced until it was too late. As the media frenzy surrounding the altercation intensified, tensions between the two stars reached a breaking point. Once admired for their seemingly unshakable friendship, fans were now questioning everything they thought they knew. Behind the scenes, Both men's personal lives were falling apart in ways no one had expected. The impact of their public falling out extended beyond their careers. It also affected their families and reputations, causing damage that seemed beyond repair. In the days that followed, Kirk and Jock both tried to salvage their public images, but their efforts were overshadowed by growing speculation about the real reasons behind their rift. Although early reports blamed professional jealousy, whispers of deeper, more personal issues soon emerged. It became clear that the fight was the result of years of simmering resentment and unspoken grievances. According to a source close to both men, their problems weren't just career-related. Their personal lives, particularly their views on relationships, were at the root of the tension. While Kirk focused on maintaining his marriage to Rashida, Jock struggled with his own relationship issues. Their differing attitudes caused friction, especially after an argument months earlier about the role women played in their lives. Jock, often flashy about his relationships, joked that Kirk was controlled by Rashida, a remark that deeply offended Kirk, who had worked hard to protect his family life despite fame's pressures. However, the rift wasn't only about one hurtful comment. A long-standing but mostly unspoken rivalry had existed between the two men. While Kirk built his fame through reality TV and his family storyline, Jock's career was rooted in music. This quiet competition, driven by pride and ego, had strained their friendship for years. When those egos clashed, the damage was inevitable. As word of their deeper conflict spread, fans found themselves divided. Was Kirk's fragile ego to blame? Or was it Jock's constant need for attention that triggered the fallout? In truth, both men had played a role. Years of unresolved tension finally boiled over, leading to their explosive fight. Things took an even more dramatic turn when Kirk and Jock spoke publicly about the incident. Kirk tried to downplay the physical fight, labeling it a momentary lapse in judgment, and blamed outside pressures like constant media attention. He suggested Jock hadn't been supportive during difficult times. Meanwhile, Jock was far more vocal. In interviews and social media posts, he accused Kirk of betraying their friendship. "I stood by Kirk through everything. I never thought he'd turn on me," Jock said, clearly hurt and angry. He criticized Kirk for prioritizing his family and career over their friendship, claiming fame had changed him. The fallout forced their families to get involved. Rashida, Kirk's wife, was reportedly heartbroken. Known as the person who kept Kirk grounded, she found herself torn between supporting her husband and mourning the loss of a longtime friendship. Although she encouraged Kirk to reach out and make amends, he refused, insisting he had nothing to apologize for. On Jock's side, his family and friends were equally upset. Many blamed Kirk for being too sensitive, suggesting that he couldn't handle the truth. They rallied around Jock, urging him to move on. Still, there were quiet regrets among his supporters too, wondering if things had gone too far. As the drama dragged on, the toll on both Kirk and Jock's careers became obvious. Their once loyal fan bases were now divided, and public perception had shifted. The fight had done more than ruin a friendship, it had severely damaged their brands. Both men now faced the daunting task of repairing not just their public images, but also their professional futures. What had started as a minor argument had turned into a career-defining disaster. Neither Kirk nor Jock could predict what would come next, but one thing was certain: the bond they once shared was shattered, and there would be no going back. As public curiosity around the fight between Kirk Frost and young Jock intensified, the situation took an even darker turn. The media frenzy had reached its peak, with gossip sites and social media channels overflowing with constant updates about the fallout between the two. Fans, influencers, and even celebrities eagerly weighed in, adding more fuel to the fire. While the drama created endless material for tabloids and blogs, behind the scenes, both Kirk and Jock were quietly battling struggles no one fully grasped. The emotional weight of the conflict was taking a serious toll on their mental health. Despite their tough public images, both men were privately grappling with feelings of betrayal, confusion, and loneliness. The relentless pressure of living under the public's microscope had finally caught up with them, and neither was truly prepared for the emotional consequences. For Kirk, the aftermath hit deeply on a personal level. His public persona had long been built on being a family man who put his wife and children above all else. Yet after the clash with Jock, Kirk found himself questioning his choices. Had prioritizing his family caused irreparable harm to his friendships? Although his marriage to Rushida remained strong, the stress from his feud with Jock was undeniable. Rushida, who had always been Kirk's rock, did her best to support him, but even she couldn't completely shield him from the emotional fallout. Their conversations behind closed doors grew tense, and Kirk started withdrawing more into himself. Although Rushida hoped the tension would eventually fade, weeks passed, and Kirk continued to seem distant and detached from the things he once cared about. In private moments, Kirk confessed he was struggling to move on. He wondered if standing by his family had been the right call, or if the deep bond he once shared with Jock had been worth preserving. Doubts about his reputation and whether he could recover from the damage also weighed heavily on his mind. Meanwhile, young Jock was fighting his own internal battles. Despite putting on a brave face publicly, he was quietly dealing with the aftermath in his own way. Known for handling drama with ease in both his personal life and career, this time was different. The fallout with Kirk hit harder than anything he had faced before. Not only had he lost a close friend, but his public image had also taken a serious blow. In the weeks after the fight, Jock tried to re-establish himself in the public eye, posting cryptic messages about growth, healing, and moving forward. However, to many, his posts felt like desperate attempts to maintain his reputation. His fan base, once loyal, became divided, with some questioning if he was being overly defensive. Privately, Jock grew increasingly frustrated. He felt Kirk was playing the victim and refusing to acknowledge his role in the friendship's breakdown. Those close to Jock believed Kirk's long-standing habit of distancing himself from friends in favor of focusing on his family had been a source of tension for years. From Jock's perspective, Kirk's need for control had fueled the explosive fight, and Kirk's unwillingness to accept responsibility felt like the ultimate betrayal. As time went on, it became clear that the conflict wasn't just damaging their friendship, it was reshaping how the public viewed them both. Fans began to question their true intentions and wonder if their bond could ever be repaired or if the damage was beyond fixing. In a surprising development, both Kirk and Jock began dropping subtle hints that reconciliation might be possible. At first, the idea seemed far-fetched. How could two men who had so publicly torn each other down ever find a way back to peace? While the public eagerly speculated about the possibility of reconciliation, both Kirk and Jock confided in their close friends and family that they were open to resolving the conflict and moving on. They both recognized that the feud had caused them more harm than good, and neither wanted it to define the rest of their lives. However, the road to healing wasn't as straightforward as they had hoped. The emotional wounds, resentment, and hurt feelings they carried made the process of mending their bond far more complicated than it seemed. In an emotional moment, Kirk confided in those close to him that he felt deeply betrayed by someone he had once considered a brother. He couldn't understand how someone he had trusted so much could turn against him so easily. Similarly, Jock shared with his friends that the fight with Kirk had shattered his perception of their friendship. He felt blindsided and abandoned by Kirk's actions. Meanwhile, the media fueled the tension, speculating about the chances of reconciliation. Some outlets hinted that the two men were secretly meeting to work through their issues, while others believed the rift was too deep to repair. Fans found themselves divided. Some hoped for a reunion, while others encouraged the men to move on and focus on their individual careers. The ongoing drama continued to shape the narrative, with neither Kirk nor Jock able to escape the aftermath. As time passed, both men dealt with the consequences in their own ways. Kirk remained focused on his family and his relationship.